You're listening to the Generational Wealth Through Commercial Real Estate podcast. Your host, Will Smith, is a former NFL player that found his passion in commercial real estate. Every week, you will learn from industry experts everything you need to know to get started investing in commercial real estate to build generational wealth.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in today. You're listening to the Generational Wealth Through Commercial Real Estate show. I got a real special guest for you today, Armoni Brooks. He's a pro athlete in the G League right now. He played with the University of Houston. You know, I played against him when I was at East Carolina University, so I had some good battles with University of Houston. Man, you guys always had a good team. You know, he was all ACC second team, all ACC, AAC tournament team. He was an undrafted free agent to the Washington Wizards, and now he's playing with the Hawks in the G League, and this guy's doing some very special things. Man, Marnie, how you doing today, man? We appreciate you coming on.
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Ready to start my day, get going, and I appreciate you having me on here.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I seen you as a professional athlete, and I said, look, man, we got to get this guy on the show so we can find out what it takes to really make it at a high level.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that, you know, that's behind the scenes and a lot of quality that you got to have to really get to where you want to be.
Absolutely, man, and we're going to dig into those today. So, hey, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. You know, I gave a real brief overview, but I mean, tell us about how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah, you know, my dad I just grew up around basketball. You know, my dad was always in the rec league or trying to show me some film from when he was in high school. So, you know, just being around the game all the time just really, you know, let me grasp it and love it. I really wanted to play football for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I was a wide receiver, and I thought that was I thought that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to high school, I was like, man. And I really started looking at how, like, you know, weighing the pros and the cons of each sport.
Right.
And I just decided, man, you know, I think basketball for me. Took me a while to get my first, you know, scholarship offer.
Yeah.
Probably late in my junior year. But then I had a really good junior summer in AAU basketball, and they just really started piling in. I only took one visit to the University of Houston, and, you know, Coach Sampson just sold me on a vision of rebuilding this team to make us, you know, a national team again. And, you know, that was probably the best decision I ever made, going to the University of Houston. And now I'm here trying to make a good career as a professional basketball player.
Right. And, you know, that's very funny, man, that you said, you know, you loved football and you thought that was going to be the route, because I was the exact opposite of you. Mine was all basketball, and, you know, I could have sworn I was going to the NBA. And, you know, that was the goal all along, man, through middle school, going into high school. And, you know, I'm 6'6", right now, and 3'3". I don't want to say my weight, but yeah, man. One of my coaches came up to me, man. He said, "Hey, man, you're 6'6", and yes, you're a good player, but you know, 6'6" in football, man, you're a D1 scholarship athlete right now." And when he said that, he was like, "You know what, man? This dude might be telling the truth." And I bought into it, and that's, you know, long story short, man, I had a great career playing football, played pro ball. So, you know, I'm glad I made the change. But every athlete you talk to, they all say, if you're talking to a football player, all of them swear up and down they should be in the NBA. And then, you know, just like you said, NBA players think they should be in the NFL. So
it's like that with everybody, because you always find a sport that you think you like more, and then the passion comes out, and you're like, okay, I think I can. Or you get some kind of, like, a coach to give you some advice on what they think, and after that, it's wraps.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, man. It's great to have coaches and mentors in your life, because they can help you, you know, shorten that learning curve if you're really willing to listen to people, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Armoni, man, tell us about some challenges that you've come across, you know, to help you get to where you're at today. I mean, you had to overcome a lot of things to get to becoming a professional athlete, man. So let's talk about a few of those challenges that you may have faced along the journey.
Yeah, you know, a couple of the challenges, just going against better players when you first get to college. Because, you know, when you first get to college, you think you're better than what you really are.
Right,
and then I was going against a senior. His name is Damian Dotson. He plays for the New York Knicks now.
Yeah.
And man, when I used to tell you, he would kick my butt every single day in individual workouts, man.
Yeah.
Every day I woke up and was like, bro, I'm not trying to go work out. I do
Right.
not want to work out because I knew I would have to guard him.
Right.
And like it was such a big mental block because I never knew how good I actually was because I was
Right.
getting killed every day.
Right.
So mentally I had to just find a way to work around that and realize that he's supposed to win. And I started winning few battles, a couple battles, every other day. And
Right.
eventually it just got to the point where I could compete with him. And then I was like, okay, maybe I got some talent in this. I got some potential.
Right.
And then after that, my work ethic took over and, I overcame that challenge when he graduated. And then the freshman that came in when I was a sophomore, I was able to do what he was doing to them.
Right.
So I got to see what they went through. And
Yeah.
then I think that just helped me build like a killer instinct when it comes to, just because you got somebody down, don't take it easy on them. You gotta just finish them, get it over with.
Right. Right.
And I think that's
Absolutely.
big. And I think that's big in professional sports. And it's something that a lot of athletes lack, actually, is they don't have the ability to just get the game over with or just finish whatever, you started.
Right. Right. And, just to kind of go off your story, man, I had a similar story. I was a man when I was coming out of high school, DN.
Mm.
You couldn't tell me anything, man. I thought I was the next Julius Peppers. I'm telling you. And, man, I got to college, and we was doing the first day of team practice. And I'm big and bad, coming off the edge, thinking I'm about to get a sack. Man, this dude picked me up, pancake me. And I was like, what the heck,
Yeah.
It was a rude awakening, man. And I was like, shocked. So this is what D1 ball is all about.
Yeah.
So just like yourself, man, I just had to overcome those challenges along the way, get stronger, keep working harder, working on my game. And man, it's very funny to hear that you faced something similar as you were going into college. So that's cool, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about your motivation, man. What drives you to get up in the morning early before everybody else and work day in and day out?
Yeah, a lot of it comes from my family. I come from both of my parents. My parents are together, and I grew up living a fairly, normal life, I guess you could say. Parents both have jobs, stable income, stable community, all that. But I think it's just the fact that there's so many things that my parents and that I and my little brother that we all want to do in our life, and I want to be able to allow them to do whatever they want to do when they want to do it.
Right.
So, if they just want to wake up one morning and be like, man, I want to go on a vacation. Like, I want to be able to provide that for them and allow them to get some, allow them to work if they want to work, or allow them to, do things like do other things that they want to do, because I know that they have goals outside of their careers. And I really just want to be able to provide for them as much as possible because, seeing all the sacrifices they made for me, AAU basketball, waking up early to take me to practice, driving home late from AAU tournaments, just seeing everything that they did for my little brother and I, it just makes me want to make life so much smoother for them once they, if they decide to stop working anytime soon.
Right. Got you, man. And that's very true, man. You find this common with every professional you talk to, whether that's, somebody that's like yourself, a professional athlete, or somebody that's in a Fortune 500 company and they're running it. They all have a why. And for my listeners, man, I want you to really think about, what is your why? What is it that really drives you to get up and do what you got to do? If you don't have a why, when the going gets tough, you're going to give in and say, well, hey, man, it just wasn't for me. But, I imagine Armoni would agree with me in saying that, if you got a why, it doesn't matter what you're facing, you're going to find a way to get it done.
Yeah. If you can find your reason why, like no matter what obstacle blocks you, you're gonna think about the reason you're doing all of this, and it's gonna help you get through it. There's nothing that'll be able to stop you.
Yeah, 100%, man. So, in your roles, man, you've seen some good players, you've seen some bad players. So in your opinion, man, what makes a true leader?
To me, a leader is someone that's been through a lot of ups and downs. You know, like it hasn't been easy for him because I feel like becoming a leader is probably one of the hardest things to do because you have to get other people to look at you as a leader. Just because you think you're a leader doesn't automatically make you a leader. Like,
right.
So a leader is someone that's been through a lot of challenges, had a lot of adversity, and then they develop characteristics and traits that attract other people to look at him as a leader. So like selflessness, you know, the desire to never give up,
Yeah.
intense work ethic. I think the work ethic one is the biggest one because if you can lead by example, you won't even have to lead with words. Like you can just lead with your actions. And I
Right.
think that's probably the biggest thing that a lot of athletes can pick up on, or even, you know, a person trying to, you know, start a business. Just don't give in. Basically, you have to have that work ethic. And if people saying no, just got to keep, you know, you just got to keep going. And if you're not making the shots that you think you're practicing all the time, you just got to keep working.
Right.
And eventually someone's going to say yes, or those shots are going to stop or start falling.
Right.
And then once people seeing you doing the things that you say that you're supposed to be doing, then I think that's when people be like, okay, so this dude about what he talking about. So I think I could look at him and be like, okay, I like this guy. I'm gonna follow this dude.
Right. And so it really just falls down on, you know, your actions, you know, speak way louder than whatever words you're going to say.
Exactly. And that's what my mom always told me growing up. She said, don't do too much talking, let your actions speak for you.
Yeah. 100, man. 100. So, you know, we talked about some of your whys about what really drives you as a professional athlete, you know, but let's talk about, you know, as, you know, a pro ball player, man, you know, you got to have goals there. So what kind of drives you around that space, man, to really, you know, push you to the highest level?
Yeah, ultimately, you know, I feel like, you know, I want to play in an NBA game. Like I've played in a preseason game. You know, I went to training camp with, you know, the Atlanta Hawks. So I've been around the pro atmosphere, but I've never played in a regular season NBA game.
Yeah.
And that's my ultimate goal is to just play in a game and to see how that is, see the intensity and just see everything that goes on that's involved in it.
Yeah.
And another huge goal I get is to just sign a multi-year contract, you know, because then that comes with some stability, a little bit of stability, because, you know, being a professional athlete is a extremely unstable career.
Yeah.
You know, it just comes with a lot. And I think that once I could get that going, it'll really show me like all the work that I put in is, you know, it's finally starting to pay off. And then once I get to that stage, I got to work even harder to, you know, get where I need to be and get where ultimately I want to need to be. So I feel like just playing in an NBA game and getting that multi-year contract and then just being able to, again, like I said, take care of my parents, those are all my biggest motivations every day I wake up.
Yeah. And that's good stuff, man. And yeah. Now, as from my understanding, you know, I know in NFL, you know, you get a contract and there's a portion of it that's guaranteed, and then there's a portion of it that, you know, let's say it'd be like a 5-year deal and they say 20 is guaranteed, but it's $50 million contract.
Uh-huh.
So are the contracts structured the same way in the NBA, or is it all guaranteed?
Yeah, the NBA, whenever you sign a contract, everything's guaranteed. Whatever amount is listed on there is guaranteed.
Man, I knew I should have stuck with basketball.
Yeah, that's the thing about basketball is I never really understood that about the football. Like, how does a person get the full, like if they'll get the guaranteed money?
Yeah, I mean, essentially what it comes down is to they give you the guaranteed up front, and then every year you got to, you know, play and perform. But if your play falls off, they'll find a way to take that money from you or you know,
Okay.
cut you. So it's incentive based to make sure you're going to keep doing what you're supposed to do. So I understand it from a business perspective, but from a player's perspective, man, I need all my money.
I need everything you wrote down.
For real, man.
I feel that. Yeah, that's the good thing about basketball, though, is whatever contract, whatever amount of money on there, it's all yours. You gonna get it. Whether they cut you, trade you, it don't matter. You gonna get that amount.
Right. Gotcha. So, man, let's talk about commitment and dedication, man. What does that really mean to you? Because I mean, you're playing at the highest level, so I know you have those traits. But you know, if you can verbalize it, what does it mean to you?
Just doing things when you don't want to do it. I feel like that's the biggest, like, you know, because some mornings you wake up and you sore, you tired, you're like, man, I do not feel like going to work out.
Right.
But then that's when that why kick in, and you're like, man, I got to do this for my mama. She probably didn't feel like going to work some days, but she had to get up and go because she knows she got to feed me.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like just doing things when you really don't feel like doing it, and then doing things when there's distractions that are going on, you like college. You know, people, your teammates might be going to a party, you know, and they like, you want to come to the party, bro?
Right.
I'm like, man. And you thinking, you got to be like, you got to be self-disciplined enough to know I'm trying to do bigger than just go to this party. Like, you know, I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to go. So now I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna shoot, bro. Y'all can go to the party. You know what I'm saying? Just little things that'll eventually get you ahead of people to a point where they can't catch up to you no matter how hard they work.
Right.
I think that's the biggest. Once you start doing things like that, I can really tell if someone's dedicated or committed.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely right, man. And I had the same thought process when I carried it from when I was in college to when I played in the league. Every day I had a thought process of every day when I get on this field, I'm going to leave better than when I first stepped on it. And I really thought that every day when I stepped on it was the thought process, the focus I had when I was out there. And, you know, that's what allowed me to be able to play for 5 years in the league, man. So, it's very important to be able to make those sacrifices because you mean believe me, there's a lot of times you want to joke around and act the fool with everybody else, but you know you got something that's and it goes back to your why. You know, your why is so strong that you know you find a way to overcome those distractions.
Yeah, definitely. And that why is literally the root of everything. If you can just, you know, write that why down and just post it on your wall or just something so that every morning you wake up, it's the first thing you see. And it'll never leave your mind. You're like, bro, I got to do this for this. I got to do this for them. Just every day.
Yeah. So, man, let's talk about some routines you have because I know every athlete has routines, whether that's a daily routine you get into or a pregame routine. What are some routines you have right now that's working for you?
My daily workout routine. So normally I work out 4 days a week. I normally take Wednesdays off and the weekends off. And so Monday I wake up at 7. I normally lift weights from 7 to about 8:30. Actually 7:30 to about 9.
Yeah.
And then I come home, get some food, get a little meal, and then I go and I have my on-court workout from 11 to 12:30.
Yeah.
And after that, I come home. Normally, then I'll be done for a little while. I take a nap, get some more food. And normally we'll go and play, you know, pick up at a rec center from about 4 to 6. And then pretty much wake up and do it again. That's basically what I do every day. And on the weekends I like to just chill with my family. You know, hang out with my friends, go to the park, play spike ball. Spike ball is so fun, bro.
Yeah.
You ever play spike ball?
No, I never played it, man. I have to look into it, man.
Man, spike ball is so fun. 4 people, it's pretty much like volleyball, 2-on-2 volleyball with a little net in the middle. It's so fun though.
Yeah.
And then so I do little things like that. You know, play video games, normal stuff.
Right.
And then for pregame, I really don't get sophisticated with pregame. I lift before games, you know, just to get my body ready and get my mind locked in. And I listen to a lot of music, J. Cole, Lil Baby.
Yeah.
You know, just to get my mind focused on the task at hand and go out there and be ready to play.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could tell you got a routine, man, because I was watching one of your highlights and you was out there killing them dudes, man. And dude dropping threes, dropping dimes out there. I'm like, this dude's a baller. So, man, I know you're going to make it, man. You got the right traits. I mean, you got the work ethic, man. Your day's coming, man. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. Your day's going to come. I promise you. Yeah, that's for sure, man.
That.
So
appreciate that, man.
Yeah. No doubt. So, you know, along this journey, man, I know you faced a big failure, and you know what I want to talk about, man. Let's talk about what that failure was, and you know what did you do to overcome it.
My biggest failure was probably in high school, my senior year in the playoffs. We lost in the first round. On a game winner. We had a really good team. We were like, we only lost like 4 games the whole year, so we were like 29-4. Like we were supposed to go to state pretty much. Like that was our goals, and
Yeah.
we basically just came out lackadaisical. We came out like, we about to beat these boys easy.
Yeah.
We about to get past them pretty fast. We just came out with the wrong mentality, and it was 37-37 in the fourth quarter with like 10 seconds left, and some dude hit a game winner. He actually played football at Ohio State right now, the dude who made the game winner.
Yeah.
And that was probably the biggest failure I had, and just, overcoming all of the expectations that we had with that team. It just made me, I don't know, it kind of clicked something in me, so that going into my first year at Houston, I was just, like, mentally, I was just ready to do so many things and get the team back to where they were when Clyde them was there, Hakeem them was there, and just a winning program again. And I think just remembering that and the expectation that we had that we didn't live up to really drove me to, be the best player I could be at Houston.
Yeah, and that's good, man, because we're all going to face failures along our journeys, and those that are mentally strong, those that have a strong why, they're going to find a way to come out better on the other side. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, one story I have, man, is I was going into my senior year as a offensive lineman, and I was was going to be a starter. No, this was my junior year. I was going to be a starter, and man, I was looking forward to it. And I tore my Achilles tendon the last day of winter workouts.
Dang.
I mean, the last day of winter workouts, man. And I mean, the last day, the last freaking drill, bro. Like, I was pissed. I was pissed, man.
Oh, that hurt. That's bad.
Yeah.
And that could really be mentally drain somebody, because you're like, I'm about to have a good year. I've been working out good. Right. And then something like that happened, it just sets you back mentally and physically.
Right.
And that's a hard obstacle to get over. So.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it was tough, man. I was down in the dumps for a little bit, man. But then I just said, you know what, man. I found my faith then. I started, really trusting God. I worked out hard, and man, I actually made it back by count, and I started that whole season. And then, the next season was even better, and that's when I got into the league, man. So I mean, that was a huge failure that it could have went either way, Yeah. If I didn't have the right mindset, I could have just said, to heck with this, and who knows where I would be right now. But persevered, man, and that helped me out tremendously. So that's why I can relate, man, with your failure and how it made you stronger, because it made you a better person because you went through that, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, when somebody go through such a failure, it could either be a really good failure or a really bad failure, because you could either find yourself like you did and just keep going, persevering, and not give up, or you could go the complete opposite direction and be like, man, I don't care about this no more.
Right.
Like, nothing ever goes my way, and after that, it's all downhill from there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I imagine, man, you was on some good teams and you've been on some bad teams. I want to talk about the qualities of a winning team, because in the commercial real estate game, man, anybody that's doing it on a big level, major level, man, they're on a team. So I want to talk about that for a moment, man. What makes a good team, and what makes a bad team?
I think I'm gonna start with a bad team, because it'll probably be easier to list those qualities.
Yeah.
A bad team is, you probably don't really get along. You probably don't get along with each other. Yeah. You don't discipline each other. Like a good team always has somebody, like, you can hold each other accountable to doing things. So like a bad team, if they see somebody doing bad, they'll be like, all right, whatever, do what you want to do.
Right.
And bad teams are also, they don't work hard. Like, individually, they don't work hard. And so, like, when one person isn't working hard, he'll be like, this person isn't doing something, so why I'm going to do it? Why would I do more if he's not doing more?
Right.
And then a bad team, just, honestly, I think the biggest thing is not getting along. Probably like you just don't like each other. Like you're like,
Yeah.
I'm here because I have to be here. And a bad team has a lot of selfish people. I would assume
Yeah.
a lot of people doing their own thing, on agendas, and just not on the same level.
Right.
When on a good team, you can have, there's everybody's selfless. They always giving to each other. They always looking out for one another. They holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
They telling each other that they got to do better so that they can accomplish what they want to accomplish. In a good team, there's a leader. Like there's a solidified leader, if not multiple,
Yeah.
maybe 2 to 3 leaders. A good team, they all like each other. They're
Right.
not selfish. And just at the end of the day, they all know that they have a common goal that they want to accomplish. So they're going to do whatever they have to do
Right.
individually and collectively to accomplish that goal by any means necessary.
Right, right, right. Absolutely, man. I would second all of that, man. A team got to have, that selfless character, man. Nobody can be, bigger than the team. My
Exactly.
coach used to say there is no I in team,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's so true, man. A winning team, man, everybody believes in the other person beside them. You got to have that trust factor in there,
Yep.
so those things are key, man. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Of
Um,
course.
so we're getting here to the end of the podcast here, but I wanted to ask you, man, what are your plans when you're done with basketball? 'Cause I know you're going to play for a lot of years, but we all got to be done at some point. So what are your plans there?
Just looking for ways to build income. I think I want to coach when I'm done,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure. Some people just don't have the qualities to coach. And so I'm still trying to figure that out within myself to see if I can do that. I'm interested in real estate, and I'm not sure if I should do commercial, residential. I haven't got into all that.
yeah,
I'm invested in the stock market right now, so hopefully that can continue to provide me with some extra money on the side, and
yeah.
just looking for ways to build a business outside of basketball so that I know once basketball is over, I still have reliable sources of income and I can still do whatever I want to do when I want to do it
Right,
for me and my family.
right, right, right. Yeah, I mean, you look at guys like Magic Johnson and Shaquille O'Neal, like those guys were superstars, but what they're doing off the field is just, or off the court, is just as special, man. Shaq, man, he owns like about 1,000 freaking companies, man. He owns Papa
Yeah,
John's and the cruise lines and
yeah,
the
yeah,
icy hot. Like that dude is doing a lot. And then you look at Magic Johnson. This dude is like he owns part of the Dodgers, I believe, part of
hmm
Starbucks. I mean, I know he owns real estate. Like, I mean, these guys is crushing it. So what that tells me is these guys were always thinking about the end game.
hmm
Leveraging their brand to get into a space and bring their unique ability to the team, man. And that's what it's all about, man. Partnering with people that that knows what they're doing so they can help you get it done. And those guys are crushing. So that's why I asked you that question, man, because I
yeah,
know some players, man. And I was a victim of this at one point. All they think about is, hey, this is the game. I'm a baller. But
yeah,
we got to think past that, man. We gotta find out, how we're gonna really make a difference in this world.
yeah. Because there's so much life that's outside of whatever sport you're doing. Like you just got to know that it's going to end one day.
Yeah,
And like there's nothing you can do to make yourself play forever. Like it's gonna end whether you wanted to or not.
right.
And it's it's all about how you got to use your networking abilities now to
Yeah,
get to where you want to be outside of basketball when it's all over, so that you can continue to win off the court.
right, right. Absolutely, absolutely, man. Well, here's the last question for you, 'cause I know you got to go. I know you're busy, man. Um, but if you can give your younger self one tip or a piece of advice, what would that be?
Mm. Um, just getting my work ethic better early. Because once you get to college, you realize that work ethic is everything. Because that's what separates the good players from the great, and the elite players from the great players. Your work ethic does everything for you. So I probably would have told myself get off the video games my freshman year of high school and go work early. Just grind. Do everything you can to get a step above everybody so that you can get where you want to be and accomplish all the goals that you have. So probably just making myself work harder at an earlier age. That would probably be the thing that I could teach my younger self if I could go back in time.
Yeah. And one question I forgot to ask you earlier, man, is, what is really work ethic? I mean, because there might be somebody younger that's watching this and they'll say, well, just mean work hard, right? But, what does that really mean, man, work ethic?
To me, there's a lot of time in each day to, get up and go do something. Like 24 hours is a lot of time.
Yeah.
So like to me, work ethic is being useful of your time. So just because you're in the gym all day, every day, doesn't mean that you're actually working on anything.
Right.
Like you could just be in the gym, just messing around, shooting up half-court jumpers. Like that don't mean you working hard.
Right.
Like to me, working hard is knowing your weaknesses. So like, let's say for instance, you want to be a really good shooter and you're not a good shooter right now. You have to go to the gym and put up 1,000 jumpers a day. Like you got to find a way to go get 1,000 jump shots up a day because it just comes from repetition and it's muscle memory. And you just continue to build. And you might not see progress for months, years, but eventually all that work is going to come out and it's going to shine when you need it to shine.
Right.
Or let's say you got a bad left hand. Like you need to go work on your left hand every single day until it's just as good as your right hand, if not better.
Right.
So like I get people asking me all the time. They'll DM me on Twitter or Instagram and like I work hard. Like why am I not being recruited? Or I'm working hard. Why am I not, getting looked at by teams? And I'm like, just because you're saying you're working hard doesn't mean you're actually working hard. Like you gotta be productive with the time that you're using. So I'm not a believer in like being in the gym for 18 hours a day. Like I go to the gym and I'm really specific on what I want to work on that day.
Right. And
I do that with all my concentration and all my focus to try to develop that thing for that day. And then tomorrow I come back, work on something else. And then, it just keeps rotating so that I continue to work on all facets of my game. And just being really productive with your time is probably work ethic. That's work ethic to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a very good point. And, whether you're talking about sports, you're just talking about, your regular day hustle, if you like, people will come to the office and say, well, man, I've been in office all day. I've been working, but what was you really doing from 9 to 5?
Exactly.
Did you time block and say, hey, from this time to this time, I'm prospecting, from this time to this time, I'm following up on leads, taking a break at this time. And then I'm really focusing on this section of my business at this part of the day. A lot of people just kind of be in the office and just going through the motions.
Exactly.
But I mean, you made a really good point, man. When you in there, you putting your work in, go ahead and work. Like, give it everything you got because that's how you're going to get the most out of it.
Exactly. You just got to be focused and locked in on what you want to work on that day or during that time frame. And then once you do that, you will start seeing progress in every aspect.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, yo, man, how can my listeners, they might want to reach out to you on Instagram or Twitter, man? How can they get up with you?
Yeah, just my Instagram is Sniper Brooks, SNIPA Brooks, BROOKS. And my Twitter is Sniper Brooks _ Somebody had took the name already. So.
Right. For sure. Well, I appreciate you coming on today and sharing all the wisdom and knowledge, man. I know my listeners got a lot out of it. If you're still watching the podcast right now, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And if you haven't left a review, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. Appreciate you guys. See you later.
Thank you for listening to the Generational Wealth Through Commercial Real Estate podcast, brought to you by Onyx Capital Investments. Onyx Capital Investments works with investors nationwide to invest in income-producing real estate in emerging markets. Connect online at www.onyxcapitalinvestments.com to learn more about what we're doing. If we have added value to your life, please leave us a review.